It is Friday, September 30th, 2016. It is about 3:30 in the afternoon, and this is your Week 4 preview. Sorry about the lateness of the post again. It's been a pretty busy week, but let's get right into it. No more wasting time. Start off with our notes and numbers for Week 3, heading into Week 4. Sokol led all scorers last week with 233.3 points. That's good for second on the all-time list in terms of weekly scoring. Couldn't catch McAllen, I believe, who had 234 points a couple years ago. Next up, we got McAllen and going undefeated, and your boy the Commish going unvictorious. They're actually going to do battle this week, so we'll see how that one plays out. Looks like it's going to be closer than you might assume. We'll get into that in a minute. Katie Cummings is now 12-6 all-time against Brooke Wild. Brooke had a nice little redemption week, going 4-2. Only losses were league leader Jack and the Commish. Coyle put up 91 points on his bench, so that's pretty impressive, while Jensen had no bench. He didn't have any active players on his bench. They were out, suspended, whatever it might be, so he didn't have anybody left. And we had two quarterbacks that scored negative points this week. Both Fitzpatrick and Carson Palmer both got in the negative. I think Fitz had negative 4.5. Palmer had like negative 0.5, something like that. All right, let's take a look at the waiver wire for this week. Went through on Wednesday. There were a couple additions after that, though, of people waiting for the waiver wire to clear to just grab people off the free agency list. I'll go through the ones of note. There were, about a dozen or so total. I added Jordan Howard to replace Jeremy Langford, who's hurt. That was a nice pick by me. Good job, Mike. Let's see. McAllen dropped Jared Goff again. Picked up Trayvon Boykin this week. I don't know if Boykin's going to play. I think Wilson's slated to play. What else we got here? No. That seems to be about anything major. Ryan dropped Danielle Mendola. That could prove to be pretty interesting if Edelman gets hurt at all. Sokol dropped Jay Cutler, picked up Josh McCown. So Jensen might want to hop on Jay Cutler because I know you got no quarterback except for Patriots. That's about it. Everybody else seems pretty straightforward, pretty standard moves. Let's move on now to our wire. Let's see where we sit at this point after those additions. In order, we got Coyle, TJ McAllen, Troy, Sokol, Walt, Jensen, McGrath, Ryan, Jack, myself, and Cole. Remember, after you get somebody, you move to the bottom of the list, and we keep on rotating through that every week. Interesting note here, specifically for Sokol, Josh Gordon, days away from reinstatement. I think he was going to be reinstated after week 4. Entered rehab, put himself into rehab. I believe the Browns cut him actually today. Tough break for him. He was a stud wide receiver. Didn't work out for him in the end, though. What are you going to do? Let's move on now to our Week 4 preview. We're going to go through every game individually and see what we got here. First off, we're going to start with roommates from Siena College. We got TJ and Pat going at it. TJ's about a 10-point favorite at this point. Most statistical categories. Pat still got Randall Cobb in on his bye, so we'll have to make that switch. That could help him a little bit. Same with Mason Crosby at kicker. With those two changes, Pat might actually take the lead here in projected points by a couple, but my money is still on TJ. TJ's got a better team, I think. It really comes down to, as usual, his wide receivers. Next up, we got Ryan McAllen taking on Jack Murray, with Ryan being about a 10-point favorite here. Again, looks like he's favored in most categories, most lineup slots. However, he does have Eric Decker still in his lineup, and Decker's ruled out, I believe, this morning. So we'll see who he puts in there and how that changes the lineup. On Jack's side, everybody looks pretty good. Terrence West might be his only real downfall at running back, and Gronk, we don't really know what we're going to get from him. He says he's playing, says he's fine. We'll see how it goes. Next up, we got Connor Coyle taking on Johnny Sokol. This one's going to be a tight one, with Sokol being about a 2.5-point underdog. Even though it looks like he's going to lead the way in most of the lineup slots here, Coyle does have David Johnson, which is going to take a lot of points for him, versus Sokol's Devonta Freeman, who's at this point really splitting carries with Tevin Coleman, who's also in Sokol's running back slot. So really, he's banking on the Falcons' running game to produce some points. I don't know if they can do that well. We're going to see on Sunday. Next up, we have Cole Coyle taking on Danny Jensen. Cole's going to be about a 9-point favorite on this one, powered by the big right arm of Phillip Rivers taking on the Saints defense, which is just abysmal lately. He also has two big running backs, Mark Ingram and Todd Gurley. While on Jensen's side, really it comes down to whether or not Jimmy Garoppolo plays. If he does, he might be all right, I think. If he doesn't, he might struggle a little bit. Going to be another tough thing to look at for Jensen here is that he's got Spencer Ware in his lineup. Today, it had come out, I believe Adam Schefter said that Jamal Charles is going to play. How much? We don't know. How many snaps he's going to get? We don't know. Who's going to get the bulk of the carries? We don't know. I know that Charles is on Jensen's bench right now, so we'll see how he decides to go with that one. Maybe he'll play them both. Maybe he'll only play one of them, take a shot. We'll see. Next up, in what looks like the biggest line of the week, we have McGrath being a 13-point favorite taking on Walt. McGrath's going to be powered by Carson Palmer, looking to bounce back from his negative points last week. He's also got LaShawn McCoy and Isaiah Crowell at running back. They are interesting plays here. Crowell versus Washington. Redskins defense has been pretty good lately, and as has the Patriots run defense, so we'll see how they do. On Walter's side, Kirk Cousins has a pretty good matchup against Cleveland. He's probably going to put up some big points. He had Kenyon Drake in the lineup. He did not perform very well on Thursday night. I know this snapshot was taken before then, so we'll see how that adjusts it. It might make it a little difficult for Walt to come back on this one. Finally, we have what I'm going to call the game of the week, and that might be a little biased here, but hear me out. It's going to be Dan McCown, 3-0 in the Katie Cummings division against your commish, 0-3, bottom feeder of the Brick Wild division, going head-to-head. McCown's only about a 2-point favorite on this one. I think it's going to come down to the wire. He's going to try and be powered by Drew Brees' right arm, taking on San Diego, hoping for a shootout in that one. I'm afraid that that's actually going to happen. He's also got big wide receivers Antonio Brown and Stephon Diggs, who's going to look to try and make a little bounce back from last week's disappointing week against the Panthers. On my side, I'm hoping that Russell Wilson is healthy enough to play, healthy enough to contribute against the Jets. Jets' pass defense has been kind of brutal lately. Also, best running back in the league, Le'Veon Bell, finally back in my lineup. Held on to him for weeks. Kept him from last year. Hopefully, he gets the bulk of the carries. I think he will. I think he's going to have a big, big day and show everybody that he's fucking back. But we'll never know until we see it happen. Down the list, also have Julian Edelman and Terrell Pryor, who might get some snacks at quarterback each. So really, it's like I got 4 quarterbacks going, so I can't really lose. That's how I see it. All right. Other than that, let me know if I missed anything, if I missed any news, notes, important things. I don't think I did, and if I did, I probably don't care, but let me know. Enjoy that commute home on a Friday afternoon. Let's get after week 4. Have a good one. That's all for now. Peace.